Thank you very much for joining me on this Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Thank you for spreading the word about the systems that I've been tracking with you and taking the time to subscribe to this channel. This here I need to dive into Philippe. As I mentioned a couple videos ago, very tricky forecast when you have two systems next to each other. That's holding, and I've been seeing some big differences overnight between the European and the American model. I want to show you why and what it means for us in the Caribbean, what we're watching out for over the next 2 to 3 days. But Philippe getting better organized. I was talking about that yesterday. Philippe would win out. Rina would really start to fall apart. That's the case, but the steering conditions are pretty weak. Let me break it down and what is happening, and then I'll show you what we can expect across the Caribbean. Here's what's going on. Yesterday, there was intense flooding in New York City, and we're thinking of them. With that said, this is a big front that has moved off. Now, here is Philippe, Rina back behind it. So bringing this up for a reason, all tied to the steering conditions. Now, what's going on is similar to what we've had with the last several systems, with a front here coming out of New York City and pushing off the east coast of the United States. That keeps high pressure over here. High pressure is a blocker. If high pressure were here, that would zoom everything right into the Caribbean. But high pressure is over here. That generally allows Philippe to make a curve. So on a heading like this would look good. It would move Philippe away from the Caribbean. But what's going on, what I've been watching overnight, the steering conditions are so weak. This front here, the tail end of it, it is very weak, so it's not necessarily going to grab Philippe right away and lift it to the north. So with that, Philippe is just going to drift. It's going to kind of wobble around. So that's what I've been seeing overnight. Yes, eventually it will make a turn to the north, but not yet. So we need to be watching this across the Caribbean for the possibility of getting some rain squalls moving in. So really anywhere from Puerto Rico, British and U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Martin, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, watching this over toward Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis. Late tomorrow into Monday. If this wobbles any closer, that would bring us some rain squalls. What does that mean? That means some gusty winds, some downpours, so some tropical storm-like conditions would be possible. It's still very difficult. I tell you what I know and what I don't know. It is a very difficult forecast, but if it wobbles any closer, especially in the northeastern Caribbean, that would bring us some gusty winds and some downpours around. So I want you to know, point being, clearly I'm on top of this for you. If this gets any closer, I'll do additional videos. I'll let you know what I'm seeing. Some forecasts are easy, some are difficult, and because this is kind of that rare twin system setup with Rina, this one's hard. Now look at the differences here. Here's what's going on here. It's Florida, Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago. This is the European model. Let me take you out on time. This is by tomorrow. And you see it right here showing a tropical storm, but nothing really pulling it up to the north. Here's that front I was just talking about right here. It's not close enough to just grab it and pull it up to the north quickly. So with that, the steering conditions are weak, and that would allow Philippe just to wobble and potentially wobble closer to us, wobble closer to the Eastern Caribbean. And you see it right here. This is by the time we get into Sunday night and Monday. Now, here's the thing. The European model does bring in some rain and some gusty winds right through here, northeastern Caribbean, like I was just mentioning. But it doesn't show a powerful system. It actually shows a slightly weaker system. It's not showing a hurricane, but that could bring tropical storm conditions to the northeastern Caribbean tomorrow night and Monday. And then by Tuesday, you see it here, that it would then start to lift to the north. So eventually, we're going to see it try to go to the north, but not yet. And as it lifts to the north on Tuesday, that could draw on some kind of feeder bands, some more scattered showers and storms across the eastern Caribbean, and then eventually deeper into the upcoming week, it would make its turn. So this is highly plausible. So is the American model. It's not that one is right or wrong. It's just very hard for the models, the computers, and the humans to read what's going on with these systems. Now, what the American model does is has this strengthen a little bit quicker, and it keeps it away from the Caribbean, but still very close. This is by the time we get into later tomorrow, really wrapping this up into a hurricane. And the National Hurricane Center has been seeing that as well, that this could become a hurricane. I was mentioning that yesterday, that as Philippe wins out, that'll get stronger. This would be by tomorrow. Now, remember, the European model has this as a weaker system right about here. while the American model has a stronger system over here. So yeah, we'll see which one kind of wins out. But point being, this system, Philippe itself, very, very close. And then eventually, like the European model, the American model has this driving north as we get into the upcoming week. Most indications are to the east of Bermuda. So the official forecast track from the National Hurricane Center has this become a tropical storm. But even them, what I was just talking about, how this is wobbling, they have also shifted their track back to the west. And I've been seeing that as well overnight and yesterday, that those steering conditions are just not super strong. So the models, all the models showing this curve, but I believe we're going to see as we go throughout the day and I get the new information from the computers, watch the atmosphere, the models are going to shift a little bit closer toward the northeastern Caribbean. Again, more so of what the European model is seeing. Now, behind it is Rina. Rina's kind of getting absorbed by Philippe. Philippe itself is kind of ripping apart Rina, so Rina just kind of falling apart. All on track with that. That should just kind of drift up to the northwest. So we are getting deep into the list this season. We have Philippe and Rina out there now, Sean, Tammy, Vince, and Whitney. And if we get through the next four, which is highly possible, especially with an active October on the way, there's an additional kind of backup list of names that we would shift to in the Atlantic Basin. So here we go again, watching Philippe. Look at it right there, and I want to zoom down in a second. And then you see here, as I was talking about yesterday, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Belize, scattered rain and storms around to widespread. Some isolated areas of flooding, some mudslides are possible. Yucatan and Mexico. Spotty showers, Cayman Islands. We had some overnight in Haiti. I was watching a few showers and storms. Eastern Pacific side has been very quiet. Most of the action over the last month or so has been on the Atlantic side, the Atlantic Basin, Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean, and the Atlantic itself. Now, the Gulf and Caribbean is going to get very active in October. That is typical, so watching the Gulf closely. Now, here's back to the American model showing the increased chance of rain today and even tomorrow in parts of Central America. Costa Rica, while the rain chance has been high, it hasn't been for all of us. It's been kind of widespread, but some areas have actually been dry. It's been an interesting rainy season, and there again, watching Philippe just to see how close it gets tomorrow night and Monday. I'll be watching it nonstop for you. So with that said, you can see tomorrow night into Monday, I've bumped up the rain chance. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat. This forecast really hinges on these wobbles of Philippe. Antigua, Barbuda, rain chance going up to 60% on Monday, with Philippe bringing in that possibility of some rain squalls. And we could see that bump up in rain chance tomorrow night and Monday as well in Anguilla, with some rain squalls moving in. If Philippe moves any closer, we could get some of those tropical storm-like conditions in the northeastern Caribbean. If it's anything stronger, I'll be updating you, of course, on that. Trinidad and Tobago has been very interesting. Some spots dry. Others, we have been dry and hot, I should say. Others, we have been getting some incredible downpours with some stronger storms. Same pattern. If you get a storm, it would be on the strong side. Barbados, rain chance the next 2 days holding at 30%, 40 to 50% chance in St. Lucia. By the way, the seas are also elevated. I mentioned that in yesterday's video with Philippe there. Rain chance 50% scattered as we work our way into Jamaica. A 40% chance in the Cayman Islands, where we had a couple showers overnight. Grenada, we're holding on to about a 20 to 30% chance of a shower this weekend. About a 30% chance St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A 50% chance of those scattered storms in Puerto Rico. Of course, monitoring Philippe. Belize, we've got the action already around. That 50% chance still holds through the weekend. And watching Philippe near, or at least just off to the east of Dominica, so rain chance stays elevated. Picks up a notch as well. Guadeloupe tomorrow into Monday, about a 50% chance, and looking at about a 40% chance in Martinique as we get through the weekend. 30% chance U.S. and British Virgin Islands, seeing if Philippe gets close. If Philippe moves into the northeastern Caribbean, of course, our rain chance will go up across the Virgin Islands, and I'll be updating that for you. Bahamas, rain chance about 30%, 40% chance today and tomorrow. St. Martin, Saba, Statia, watching Philippe very carefully to see if it brings any rain squalls. We've got some of the active weather around the Yucatan of Mexico. 30% chance of rain, Turks and Caicos. Haiti, we had some of the rain overnight. Rain storm chance holding holding at 40%, 40 to 50% chance through the weekend in the Dominican Republic, 50% chance of scattered showers and storms across Cuba and Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, generally in between. There is a slight chance of a shower, but not a whole lot. Again, rain chance about 10%. Costa Rica, I mentioned the high chance of rain, but it just hasn't been for all of us. It's kind of been picking its spots. 40% chance the next few days in northern Venezuela, 10% chance today in Guyana, and in Suriname, rain chance holding at about 5 to 10% over the next 3 days, taking you through the weekend. Bermuda, that rain chance picking up. I showed you that system coming out of New York City that is going to help control, or at least steer some of those conditions and kind of control the environment for what's going on with Philippe. Well, that's going to increase the chance of rain tonight and tomorrow in Bermuda as that front moves in. So all eyes, of course, on Philippe. It's staying close for now. Rina starts to go to the north in weekend. Now, if Philippe wobbles any closer, that will bring in those tropical storm conditions. I'll be watching it non-stop throughout the day, watching any subtle changes in this. I'll go over the comments. Again, thank you for getting the word out about Philippe, sharing this channel, subscribing to this channel, and being part of this weather community. I hope you have a good day ahead.